In this example, we want to determine whether the given vectors v and w are equal vectors or not. In each case, we're given two vectors v and w by their initial and terminal points, and we're going to determine whether they're equal by plotting these vectors in the plane and looking to see if they have the same direction and the same length. We'll start with part A, where vector v will have initial point 3, 2 and terminal point 7, 2, and w will have initial point 1, negative 4 and terminal point 1, 0. We first plot vector v. We know its initial point is 3, 2, and its terminal point is 7, 2. And so our vector v will be actually a horizontal vector going from 3, 2 to 7, 2. We then plot vector w. We know its initial point is at 1, negative 4, and its terminal point is at the point 1, 0. And so we can see here that vector w is going to be a vertical vector. In this case, we notice that both vectors do have the same length, but they are pointing in different directions. V is horizontal and w is vertical. And so these are not equal. They have a different direction from each other. We repeat the same process for our second set of vectors. Our second set had a vector v with an initial point of 0, 0 and a terminal point of 1, 1. So you see this is a very short vector that moves at a 45-degree angle from the positive x-axis. This is vector v. We're also given a vector w, which has an initial point of negative 2, 2, and a terminal point of negative 1, 3. So this vector looks like this. Now here we can look at these two vectors and we can see they both have the same direction. They're both pointing at a 45-degree angle with relation to the positive x-axis, and they both have the same length. So since these vectors have the same length and have the same direction, these two vectors are equal. It's important to notice here that they do have different initial and terminal points, and that's okay. When we're talking about vectors being equal, we simply mean that they have the same direction and the same length, which v and w here do. In this example, we want to determine which of the following 6 vectors are equal. We have vectors a, b, c, d, e, and f sketched here in the plane, and we want to know which of them are equal to each other. You can pause the video and try this example yourself, then resume the video to see the solution in a few seconds. By looking through this set of 6 vectors, we can see that vectors a, b, and e all point in the same direction. From the initial to terminal point, they all move to the right 1 unit and up 2 units, and they all have the same length. Vectors c, d, and f all point in different directions from those, and they have different lengths, and none of c, d, and e have the same length and direction as each other, so the only set of vectors here that are equal are vectors a, b, and e.